Hey everyone, welcome back to VoxQueue. Today we've got some wild ones. Grab a drink, settle in, and let's get into it. The common thread in all of these is simple. People felt confident. Confident enough to lie. Confident enough to do it in front of others. And then the proof showed up. And when it did, everything changed. This first story is about Zoe, and it starts off normal. She was part of a tight friend group, years together, group chats every day, trips, birthdays, everything. The kind of group where you think nothing can really go wrong. But something did, and this is where it gets worse. They were preparing for a wedding weekend. Everything was organized through a shared album, photos, plans, and polls. Simple decisions. At least, that's what it looked like. Until one poll changed. Overnight. Completely flipped. Zoe noticed it right away. At first, she thought it was just people changing their minds, but something felt off, so she checked again. Same result. That's when she paused and did something most people wouldn't even think to do. She opened the album history, and this is where everything shifted. Every change was there, every edit, every timestamp. She scrolled slowly. Then she saw it. Ben. Editing the poll, more than once, late at night, around 2 a.m., changing entries, adjusting results, quietly, while acting normal the next day. That should have been the end, but it wasn't. Zoe didn't say anything. Not yet. She waited, watched, let it play out, because she wanted to be sure. Then came the dinner. Everyone was there, laughing, talking, going over plans, Ben included. Acting completely normal, like nothing happened. Zoe leaned back slightly, phone in her hand, screen glowing, and then she asked, "Hey, did anyone change the poll yesterday?" There was a small pause. Ben answered immediately, "No." No hesitation, no thinking, just no. And that's when everything changed. Zoe slowly turned her phone around. The album history was right there. His name. Multiple edits, clear timestamps, right in front of everyone. The table went quiet. No one spoke. Ben leaned forward slightly, trying to look at the screen. "That's not what it looks like," he said, but his voice had already shifted. Zoe stayed calm. "You edited it 5 times," she said, "at 2 a.m. No emotion, just facts." And that's what made it hit harder, because there was nothing to argue with. The proof was already there. Someone at the table shifted in their seat. Another person looked down at their phone. That kind of silence, the uncomfortable kind. Ben tried to explain, said he was just fixing things, trying to help, but it didn't land. Because it wasn't helping, it was control, and everyone could see it now, in real time. The energy changed, subtle but clear. People stopped engaging within the same way. Conversations got shorter, responses got colder. Zoe didn't need to push, didn't need to argue. She already did enough. She showed the receipts, and once people see that, they don't forget it. The second story is about Owen, and this one is heavier. Workplace setting, high pressure, promotion week. Everyone's trying to stand out, stay sharp, be seen. Owen had been handling meeting notes, important ones, leadership-level discussions, detailed, accurate, until one meeting went wrong. A summary went out, and suddenly things were missing. Key decisions, important details, leadership noticed. And then Victor stepped in. Victor was Owen's boss, and he said it publicly. Owen mishandled the notes, just like that. No warning, no conversation before, straight to blame. In front of everyone, the room shifted, eyes turned, that quiet judgment. Owen felt it, but something didn't sit right, because he remembered writing everything down, clearly. So he went back, checked the system, looked at the timeline, and then he found it. Security footage, office camera. Nothing dramatic, but enough. Victor, logging in, opening the file, editing it, deleting sections, then closing it. That should have been the end, but it wasn't. Owen didn't react right away. He stayed quiet, let Victor keep talking, let the narrative build. Then came the next meeting. Same room, same people. Victor started again, talking about inconsistency, glancing at Owen, and that's when Owen spoke, calm, measured. "I actually looked into that," he said. He connected his laptop, pulled up the timeline, then the footage. The screen lit up the room. Victor, clear as day, editing the notes, deleting content. Silence. No movement. No reaction at first. Just stillness. Victor shifted slightly. "That's out of context," he said. "But there is no context that makes that okay." Owen didn't argue. He just let it play, frame by frame. And that was enough. Everything flipped. Right there in real time. The third story is where everything escalates. Nathan, holiday weekend, neighbors everywhere, music, conversations, people outside. And this is where it gets worse. His property manager, Megan, started pushing a claim, saying part of his backyard wasn't his. Not quietly, publicly, in front of people, repeating it, confidently, saying the whole block would agree. And she didn't stop. She escalated it during a gathering, full audience, people watching, Nathan standing there while she pointed at the fence line, explaining how it clearly wasn't his. At that moment, it was just words, her confidence versus his silence, because the survey hadn't come in yet. That should have been the end, but it wasn't. Later that day, his phone buzzed. Survey results. He opened it. Shared wall diagram. Clear boundaries, exact measurements, no confusion. And that's when everything shifted. Nathan walked back outside. Same group, same energy. Megan still talking, still confident. He didn't interrupt. He waited, then stepped forward. "Hey, you might want to see this." He held up his phone, screen glowing, the diagram visible, lines clearly marked, exactly where the boundary sat, exactly where she was wrong. People leaned in. Someone stepped closer. Silence spread fast. Megan looked at the screen, then back at him, then back again. "This doesn't look right," she said, but her voice had dropped. Nathan zoomed in, highlighted the line. "It's from the surveyor. Came in this morning." No argument, no emotion, just proof. And that's what ended it, right there. Now here's the pattern across all three of them. None of them expected to be checked. Ben thought no one would look at history logs. Victor thought authority would protect him. Megan thought confidence would convince the crowd. Same mistake, different situations. They relied on one thing, that nobody would verify. And that's where they failed. Because the moment proof shows up, everything else fades out. Confidence without truth collapses fast. And once people see that shift, they don't forget it. There's something powerful about proof. It doesn't argue, it doesn't get emotional, it doesn't raise its voice, it just shows what happened. And that silence after exposure says more than anything else. If you made it this far, you already know. The loudest person in the room isn't always right, and when the proof shows up, everything else fades out. Stick around, because the next one might be even worse.